The Jim Les Terry Show. Continuing on for another week or so before my good friend Jim comes back to occupy the chair in the corner of the Hobbit hole. Not that the corner is a bad place to be. Maybe it was when we were growing up as kids. Were you ever sent to the corner? I don't think I was part of the generation that is celebrated in some early black and white films where they have what is known as the dunce cap. This conical shaped hat that would be put on to make people feel stupid. That was part of pedagogy back in the day. How far back? I'm not sure. I haven't really poked into it. But it is immortalized in a lot of black and white films from, say, the 30s, 40s, 50s. When did the practice disappear? When did humiliating students disappear? Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's ongoing. It's just morphed into some other practice. Morphing. Maybe that's morphing, not morphine, the drug. Morphing, changing into something. The opposite of some of this stuff is, well, maybe I can take it this way. There is spirituality, then there's sort of traditional thinking. There is science, and then there is non-traditional thinking, or what I would call pseudoscience. There is thinking, or what we pass off as thinking, and then there is critical thinking, which goes into the realm of logic and more into the realm of philosophy, I suppose. Talking about language and language use, mean what you say what you mean, that kind of thing. I'm going to take all of this stuff, wrap it all into one big Gordian knot, and say that I have always been one to be intrigued since COVID, since before COVID, actually, because I have a family member who was a sort of a Trump supporter, Alex Jones believer, conspiracies are us kind of thinker, and someone who got really passionate about their beliefs when confronted with what I would have said was the commonly espoused belief system of reality. But I've learned that you can have a t-shirt that says Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president, and maybe that has morphed into Jesus is my savior and so is Trump, or the orange Jesus. Things change and perspectives change, and what grounds all of these things should be critical thinking and should be some kind of analysis where you can lay out all the cards on the table to make sure that no one is, cheating, placing false cards in the deck, pawning something off as true that's not. How do we get into this realm, and how do we set the course back? And is back where you want to go, or is some form of forward thinking what is required to get us out of this place? What am I talking about? Here's a title from a McGill University. Now, McGill I followed because of COVID and the Dirty Dozen, the top 12 conspiracy purveyors of COVID's not real, vaccines will kill you, masks will kill you, safe social distancing is an infringement on your freedom to assemble, and all the other things that go on with that. So McGill is often at the vanguard, the front line of the battles with what people are saying and claim to be true with what is actually measurably true. Title, and again, this is following up on, have you ever been read to? I'm going to read to you this article. It's not mine. It's from McGill. It's from the Office for Science and Society, and I will provide a link for it. The whole purpose of this is not to take credit for this kind of thought, but to expose you to some ideas from a Canadian university, looking at the topic of who is likely to believe in conspiracy theories. Subtitle, after nearly 30 years of research, we finally have a portrait of the typical conspiracy theorist, although many of the details are still fuzzy. The author, Jonathan Jarry, who has a master's of science. And again, I guess the point here is whether you are an effective communicator, because science without communication, without accurate communication, is easy to take and misrepresent and make it say something else. An example of that would be Dr. John Campbell, who often takes things out of context or misinterprets data, claims he knows what he's talking about, and subsequently publishes things that are not really cricket. I use that word cricket to mean a very rules-based approach to investigating claims of truth. I'm going to just start to read, and maybe I'll give some anecdotal information. It's a short article. You can read it for yourself. Link provided in the description. Here we go. Pre-pandemic, the question I would most often get was, how do I know who to trust when it comes to health and science information? Over 3 years after a new virus began sweeping the globe, the question I hear again and again is, why is it that my husband, sister, aunt, father, uncle, whoever, believes in all this conspiratorial nonsense? As it turns out, those two questions are actually related. More on that later. But until now, I could only offer empathy and hypotheses. Although conspiracy theories have been stowed away in humanity's whispers for millennia, research into the people who hold these beliefs only got started in earnest about 30 years ago. Studies have attempted to see if people who believe in particular conspiracy theory or who have a general propensity for believing in these theories have something else in common. This link might predispose them to be convinced of stories of sinister machinations, or it may be something that is fed by conspiracy theories and grows as a consequence. Either way, scientists were looking for associations, and they found plenty. But early on, these studies were not very good or generalizable, which meant there were plenty of contradictions in the literature. Of course, the very idea of scientists at educational institutions studying people's propensity to buy into allegations of dark cabals will make some people sneer. It'll make the same people sneer. Institutions can't be trusted, they will argue. Conspiracies are real, they claim. Obviously, some are. For example, Watergate was a conspiracy. The tobacco industry, knowing their product caused cancer and conducting a massive campaign of disinformation, was a conspiracy. Even your friends planning your surprise birthday party could be technically qualifying as a conspiracy, depending on how you would define the term. For our purposes, though, a conspiracy is an explanation of events which blames a group of powerful people who make secret plans to benefit themselves and harm the common good. Popular conspiracy theories include alien contact, the assassination of JFK by multiple shooters, the cover-up of the dangers of genetically modified foods, and the manufacturing of a fake crisis in the form of global warming. During COVID-19 pandemic, new conspiracy theories emerged, such as Bill Gates, the master orchestrator of this world-changing event, and the pharmaceutical industry's denial of the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. So, who believes these large conspiracy theories, often built upon surprising allegations with little evidence behind them? Who? A team of researchers from Emory University, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the University of Regina, like that Canadian connection, undertook a colossal effort recently. They grabbed every English language study ever conducted to look into beliefs in conspiracy theories and its potential link to personality and motivation in order to conduct a meta-analysis of this data. In total, 170 studies were examined involving over 158,000 research participants. They crunched the numbers to see what was strongly associated with believing conspiracy theories and what wasn't. Many of their results were to be expected, but some were surprising. 3 tendencies were strongly correlated to conspiracy ideation, which is the inclination to endorse conspiracy theories. And these 3 were perceiving threat and danger, relying on institution and having odd beliefs and experiences, and being antagonistic and feeling superior. You can think of each of these as 3 pillars that support conspiracy ideation and or nurtured by it, and each pillar can be looked at in detail. Number 1, perceiving threat and danger. Conspiracy theorists tend to believe that the world is a dangerous place and that life is a violent struggle in which others pose a threat. This is not only supported by the data, but is clear from watching top influencers in these communities. Dark forces are coming for our children and our collective freedoms, they often claim. Every institution is a threat, from the pharmaceutical companies to universities, from media outlets to government. Paranoia is strongly correlated with conspiracy ideation, although it differs from it in other ways. With paranoia, the delusion is that everyone is out to get you personally. With conspiracy ideation, the delusion is that powerful people are out to get you and everyone else. So we all need to be cautious. This acute sense that the world is full of danger leads to one of the clearest associations with belief in conspiracy theories. That is, distrust. This lack of trust was studied from multiple angles, and it kept being linked to conspiracy ideation. After all, how could you trust institutions when you perceive all of them as threats to you and the people around you? Conspiracy theorists look at our planet with a combination of cynicism and a feeling of powerlessness. They see society's moral rules as breaking down, and they feel alienated from others. It's no surprise then that when a strong, loud leader comes along and reveals that they too see the world in a similar light and they have a plan, conspiracy theorists will flock to them like moths to a flame. Of course, there's much more in that article, linked below. Who's likely to believe in conspiracy theories? Maybe someone who designs t-shirts, make some money out of them. Jesus, the orange Jesus. Jesus is my savior. Trump is my president. Conspiracy theories. Election fraud. Conspiracy theories. COVID-19 was fake. Conspiracy theories. Vaccines kill you. More die from vaccines than the disease. You know them all. There's more in the article. Keep reading. One of the solutions to conspiracy theories is critical thinking. Bye-bye for now.